Welcome back, everyone. Pal Ponder on Weather here. Happy Friday. We have a rare storm we're going to be talking about over the next 7 days that looks to crush records. So let's take a look at the overall jet stream on the world view this morning so you can get a full grasp of what we're talking about. This is the atmospheric river that extends all the way back to China. Do you realize it's 6,500 miles from China all the way to San Francisco? And we have relentless storms going to be training along this boundary and pounding the coast over the next 7 to 10 days, while much of the U.S. is experiencing warmer conditions with this zonal flow, and that looks to continue for the next 7 to 10 days as well. But previously to that, we had that Siberian Arctic Express pounding the U.S. right before Christmas, about a week before Christmas. It came in, sent the temperatures plunging for about a 2-week time span. We saw well below average temperatures in that really intense winter storm, unfortunately, that had over 80 fatalities right around the Christmas time and brought that historic blizzard up there in Buffalo. But since we flipped the calendar, it's been nothing but warm conditions, and that's why we had all the severe weather across the southeast for those couple of days, with compliments of all the warmer conditions we've seen from 15 to 25 degrees above average. So if you are new to the channel, like detailed weather content on North America, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily updates on this channel. And it's also important to hit the like button as well. It definitely helps out more than you know. So let's really delve into the details and talk about what we're really concerned about. Here's a tweet that the National Weather Service in the Bay Area sent out yesterday talking about San Francisco. They, in the last 10 days, they've received 10.33 inches since December the 26th. That is the most in a 10-day period since 1871. The only thing that beats it is the all-time record event, the Great Flood of 1862, when they picked up 14.37 inches over a 10-day period. But this is my concern going forward. So look what happens for today. So this is a compounding event. For today, we do have a moderate risk of more excessive rainfall with those relentless atmospheric river events pounding the coast. This is going to be letting San Francisco, dry out a little bit today, but it just increases tomorrow because that just expands. Now it encompasses the San Francisco area, into the Sacramento area, back into San Jose, with that slight risk of excessive rainfall. And that just continues onto the day on Sunday as well, with that expansion of that excessive rain that are going to be inundating more rain into Sacramento, into San Francisco, back into San Jose. Now it starts to expand into the Fresno area. And then we just have an even a bigger event that comes in on Monday, and this could be really significant. So it's a compounding deal that really, heightens the threat for significant flooding, compounding with the 10 inches of rainfall you've already seen in those areas. So we have a moderate risk for excessive rainfall back into Sacramento, into San Jose, into San Francisco again, with more and just intense rainfall. With all the saturated soil is going to be in there, you can better believe mudslides are going to be a big impact for this area. With all the high winds are going to be back in the picture. The power outages, definitely a huge concern. So definitely concerned for this area. And look at the picture back in 1862. This is the only thing that beats it, guys. So we're talking about historic levels now we haven't seen in many, 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 many years. This is the Great Flood of 1862. So hopefully it doesn't come to this, but it does not look good with all the rain that looks to unfold over that same area just in the next 7 to 10 days. So let's expand the view and take a look at what happens elsewhere, because we've been talking about this Pacific front that brought all the severe weather across the deep south. Now that is safely out into the open water. As you can see, from much of out here in the Caribbean, it's pretty quiet that's happening down here. We do have that zonal flow, so there's not really much cold air to speak of. The main story is just going to be these relentless systems. They're going to be coming in off the west coast. So let's break this down for you. For today, like I mentioned, it is fairly quiet, but we do have some snow, snow showers are really left over for this lake effect snows up here into the Northeast. So this doesn't really amount to much. We do have a little shortwave that comes across portions of Missouri as well as portions of Arkansas, have some light showers. We have the Intermountain West, snows for the higher elevations, and then all the heavier rain that's going to be pounding the coastline into Washington and Oregon, especially into that Northern California area. Then as we go into the day on Saturday, we do have a little shortwave that comes across. It's been pretty dry across the midsection of the country, and it's going to continue to remain on the drier side as most of the systems is basically south and east of Central Texas, North Texas. So places into Houston could be seeing some light rain showers on the day on Saturday. Getting into East Texas, that just extends into portions of Louisiana and Mississippi. Up here, you do see some snow, but this is not significant by any stretch of the imagination. You just could see some snowflakes fall out of the sky because this is really not going to amount to much. Where all the action is, again, is off the West Coast with all the rain going to be impacting those areas. And then as we go into Sunday, kind of the same deal. That short wave shifts a little bit further off into the south. Now it's bringing some instability further south into, say, Victoria, maybe into Corpus Christi, back into the Houston area, into the Beaumont area, Baton Rouge areas, places into Jackson. But again, there's another warm front. So there's not much cold air to talk about. It's bottled well to the north. You see warm fronts draped across the midsection of the country as well. All the action again is really highlighted over Northern California. Now it creeps a little bit further south into Central California, and even Los Angeles could start getting into the rain activity for them as well, with more heavier rain moving back in. But yes, I mentioned the big storm that really comes in on Monday. So it's a compounding event. This is another significant storm that comes in off the West Coast with another 965 millibar low pressure, with an intense water vapor, intense rain band pounding the coast with all the higher winds that with this area. The one yesterday actually maxed out about 106 miles an hour at places. Most of the gusts were in the range of 40, 50, 60 mile per hour, but there were some significant wind gusts, especially some of the higher elevations in those mountain regions, 80, 90, and I did find one of 106 miles an hour. But yeah, you can better believe here's the wave swath over the next between now and Monday. With all these relentless atmospheric river events, these waves are going to be pushing 55 feet out here, and all those higher waves will be pounding the coast with beach erosion along all the way around the coast into Washington and Oregon, all the way in the entire coastline of California. So this is going to be a significant threat. You definitely need to be taken seriously, especially with all the saturated soils that's happening over the last 7 to 10 days. And then you get all this that's coming that there's no place to put it, and it's just going to be raising all the water, the standing water that's going to be on the roadways. So let's take a look at, break this up, for the next 5 days. So this is between Friday and Wednesday. So most of these systems, again, miss the midsection of the country. It's really elongated to the South Texas and to Louisiana through Mississippi, with a good potentially 1 to 2 inches over the next 5 days. And then lighter amounts as you extend further into the Tennessee Valley, into the Ohio Valley, and getting up here into the Northeast, with maybe a ½ inch and maybe pockets of an inch at times. But yes, deeply concerned about all the significant rains that are going to look to unfold just really in the next 5 days. And look at the chart here. That's 7 to 10 inches of rain, additional rain in these areas, and even higher amounts in these where it's going to be all snow in the mountain regions, and then lighter amounts. It's still going to rain up there in Washington and Oregon. It's just not going to be as significant. So you're going to still see daily rain showers, and then lighter amounts as you extend further down the coast into Los Angeles, and it's still going to reach portions of San Diego. But notice it really doesn't reach portions of Nevada and even in Phoenix. Phoenix basically gets bone dry out of these systems as most of the precipitation stops in California, just kind of rains itself out over that region. And then, but we do see subtle signs of change as we go into Thursday. So from the Monday and Tuesday storm system that's going to hit the West Coast, that's the storm system I do feel that's going to sneak past the Rocky Mountains and then pick up again with a fairly good trough that's going to be setting up over the midsection of the country. That could bring additional rain showers. Again, I think it misses more or less Dallas and sets up into East Texas, into these same areas that really been hit hard as of late, getting more rain back in the picture. But what that does is that does set up a pretty healthy trough further south. So again, there's not much cold air to speak of, but because of this trough, this is going to bring cooler conditions, and it's going to be definitely raising the instability down in this sector into the southeast. So we're looking about elevated showers with complements of this trough that comes in by next weekend. So as we zoom in to the beyond the next 5 days, this is from Wednesday of next week through Sunday. So Wednesday through Sunday of next week, with the trough sneaking past the Rockies, that puts the above average precipitation anomalies into Kansas, into Missouri, into Arkansas, again, East Texas, but especially Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and Georgia, and Florida as well, gets all the rain with that trough nearby. And then there are some signs beyond the picture that is, as we extend into the next weekend, that this could try to sneak up the coastline. And if that does, that will be elevating the precipitation up in this regions, and even some of that could be in the form of snow as well. But yes, more rain going to be entering the picture into the Pacific Northwest, especially along the coastline, and especially into California again. This is compounding of the 7 to 10 inches that you received from Friday to Wednesday, and there's more storms after that. So this is just a compounding system that has, implications over a period of time, but there's no really Arctic air to speak of, and not even up to the north. I mean, you're above average in much of Canada, you're above average in much of Alaska here. You can actually see where the snow has fallen in the past couple of days with the snowpack on the ground, where they did pick up some significant snows in South Dakota. Some places got 27 inches of snow, and there are some lighter shaded colors. That's complements of that trough that can be sneaking in by the time we get into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next weekend, bringing some below average temperatures down here in this region. But yeah, you're below average because of the rain out here off the west, but there's really no Arctic air to speak of over the next 7 to 10 days. And look at the snow. With no Arctic air in place, it's not really even snowing in Alaska. Again, it's not really even snowing that much in Canada. The only snow to talk about is well north, complements of the lake effect snow. Like I mentioned, if that trough does try to sneak up the coastline, then that's going to be increasing the snows, but that won't be until next weekend. There's still a lot of uncertainty, because obviously that's, beyond 7 days, that's 8, 9 days, 10 days out from now. But what's more certain is all the heavier snows for the Intermountain West, and especially for these mountain regions, because all that snow melt is got to melt sometime. So that is going to help fill up the lakes as well. So this is a lot of precipitation. There's estimates for California is going to be upwards to 22 trillion gallons of water is going to be falling on the state, with the combination of snow and all the rain for the entire state. Almost 22 trillion gallons. That's an absurd amount of water for that state, and obviously they need it. They've been in a drought for many years. So this is a significant event to help them get out of the drought, but there's going to be implications as far as severe flooding that comes along with it as well. So let's take a look at the overall precipitation. So this is the concern. So again, most of the systems miss the midsection of the country. They really pick up once they tap into the Gulf. They don't really tap into the Gulf until they get into, say, the Houston area, into the East Texas area, into Louisiana and Mississippi. Complements of the short waves and the trough that's going to be coming in further south along into the deep south. If it does try to sneak up the coast by the time we get into next weekend, these will increase these precipitation amounts as we go further up the coastline here. But overall, there's really not much as we creep further and further to the north, but it's all the rain that really hugs the coast and the significant flooding that looks to unfold over California. And then as you can see, as you go past California, there's really not much, right? It stops into Utah and into Phoenix, into Colorado. There's not much really precipitation, and then it really dries out once you hit the midsection of the country. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and catch me in the next update while I protect you before and after the storm.